Hi, I'm Talia Landry here with your Q30 News Update. The approach of the chilly weather has ended the program for the season, but Executive Director Rebecca Klein says they will continue working on subsidizing funds for this nonprofit organization. When you're driving around in an unfamiliar area, getting around can be pretty difficult. There's getting lost, and then there's this. On lighter news, President Obama is on the road again. Springtime is back, and so are the dreaded allergies. And soon, the community will have a place to learn and share their knowledge at New Haven's first community kitchen. In New Haven, I'm Talia Landry, Q30 News. Thanks, guys. Flu season has arrived. Social media is no longer just for social networking, but it has developed into a new medium for news consumption. I'm Talia Landry, QNN.
The first time I drank alcohol, I was 14 years old.
Michael Adams is like a lot of young people who know resourceful ways to get alcohol.
Well, for a while, I used to get my alcohol. I had my own fake ID, but it actually got taken away. Now I just find somebody older who's willing to buy it for me.
It is not a difficult task for underage drinkers to obtain alcohol. 70% of American youth report having consumed alcohol before turning 21. Young people between the ages of 12 and 20 consume 11% of all alcohol consumed in the U.S. Quinnipiac University's Chief of Public Safety says it's a difficult job to track alcohol coming into a college campus.
There's a number of students who have fake IDs. There's a number of students who have other older brothers or sisters who live on campus, or some relatives or friends of theirs who obtain alcohol for them. So it's a difficult job in order to track alcohol coming into a college campus.
But underage drinkers don't always have to rely on people they know. New Haven bartender says that bartenders could do a better job when it comes to serving minors.
Biggest issue when it comes to underage drinking is bartenders not being smart about it, basically. Say your friend is underage, they'll serve them, and then their friend will get really drunk and then go do stupid stuff, and then it comes back to us.
Officials are doing whatever it takes to tackle the issue of underage drinking. But one thing parents can do to help is to educate their children on the dangers that come along with drinking underage.
When I was a senior in high school, I actually ended up with alcohol poisoning and ended up in the hospital. I remember a very small portion of the night.
Talia Landry, QNN. There are many factors to consider when determining the rate of return of college, and financing has become one of the biggest issues. Kelsey LeDuc is a full-time mom. She knows the benefits that college can offer, but cannot afford it with her son.
I believe that a lot of people can succeed after college. I think, if you're in the right degree, you can graduate and get into a great career. But I couldn't afford it. With my son, I wouldn't have been able to go to school, or, I wouldn't been able to afford the commute.
Quinnipiac Associate Director of Admissions, Joanne Robertson, says that college affordability is in a state of uncertainty.
I think the whole affordability of college is in a state of flux. It's difficult when you're trying to attract students to the university. As I say to parents and students, I will never be able to explain away the tuition. I can tell you all the benefits of coming to Quinnipiac University.
Tuition for universities has dramatically increased through the years. Robertson says that this has not shown in the number of applicants Quinnipiac receives. In fact, the number of people applying to QU has increased.
Numbers keep going up. I would say the amount of applicants has increased substantially over the last few years.
According to the Pew Research Center, 75% of college graduates think college has become too expensive for most Americans. 91% of graduates think that their education has been worth it in the end. Small business owner Bruce Enos is one of those graduates that think college has been worth it.
College to me opened my eyes to a lot of things in the world that I wouldn't have known of if I never went. I came from a family that couldn't really afford it, but I figured out ways to get around that. I figured out ways to pay the bills. There's scholarships. There's financially, there's a lot of helping hands out there. You just gotta really want it. Yes, I do think it's worth it.
Talia Landry, QNN. Poverty rates are continuing to increase in America. A noticeably common trend in past reports determined that women and children are more likely to live in poverty than men.
Where I grew up was in a low-income area, and not too many children made it past the age of 10 because the death rates were so high. And My mother was a single parent and she struggled in order to get us in school to receive a better education, and she worked her way out so we would not live in that area that we used to live.
In 2012, the poverty rate for children was at 43.5%. Women ages 18 to 64 with 15.4% compared to men at 11.9%. Megan Tarby is the founder of the Connecticut Partnership for Children. It's a nonprofit organization that helps families living under the poverty line.
So our main goal is to meet basic needs. We currently have 3 programs. So we do a diaper bank, we also have a Thanksgiving food program, and our Helping Hands Warming Hearts winter sponsorship program.
Her organization notices a big trend with women and children living in poverty.
A big trend, we have one client who was financially struggling and she started living in one home, but she had to keep relocating homes because they weren't able to afford it.
So in Connecticut alone, 1/3 of all families are single parent households. The data from our Thanksgiving program last year showed that of 101 families that we served, 79 of them were single mother households.
Tarby says that there are a lot of different factors contributing to the trend of women and their children living in poverty.
So if you look at the big picture, women are the ones who are giving birth. So naturally, there are challenges that can go along with that. For instance, they have a loss of work, which goes along with the process of the natural healing process of childbirth, or being out of work, or not necessarily in high-paying jobs, maybe having part-time work so that they can make up for some of the childcare costs there. You know, a lot of people believe that there is a discrepancy also between the wages of men and women. And then you have to take into account education level as well. So are women attaining as high of an education as men?
These factors against women are hard to avoid, but organizations like CTPFC remind us that there is always people willing to help.
I want to help meet the needs. It's like a warm feeling, a good feeling that you're knowing that you're helping someone out at the end of the day. And noticing everyone around the community that are in low poverty are struggling and stuff. Like, if I can change one family at a time or help one family at a time, it will make me feel better that not everyone has to go through the same problems for the rest of their lives.
Talia Landry, QNN. Social media was created for social networking among friends and family. Now, social media has made a huge impact on news consumption. More and more people are using it as their primary news source. Just take it from Quinnipiac University journalism student Nick Palma.
People are constantly on Facebook, whether it's in class, outside of class. People are always on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram to get their news. Those are the first apps I think people click when they're using their phones. It's just it's a quicker way to get the news out there because people just copy and paste links and send it through the click of a button essentially. So I think students and everyone within the media have used social media to get their news out there.
30% of Facebook users use Facebook to get their news. 8% of Twitter users use Twitter. 3% use LinkedIn, and 4% use Google+. Even inactive users are feeling the pressure to participate more with social media in order to consume news.
Do I think I'll ever jump on the bandwagon for social media? Probably at some point. I'm going to have no choice but have to. Just like the computer world, at some point, I think it's just going to be social media or like CNN TV type of thing. You're going to have to do one or the other.
Eric Govin is the promotional director for KC101. He says even radio is adapting to the new trend.
Not just a radio station anymore. For years we're just radio. We're giving information out on the air, which is great, which we still do. But now it's such a digital age and everyone has their phones, they can just search something real quick. Everyone's on social media. So it's definitely being able to kind of transition into a different medium is really important. And social media helps. You look on Twitter, as soon as something breaks, people are talking about it on Twitter and we want to be right there with them and be that news source that we can really, that people will trust and will always look to us.
So, social media is no longer just for social networking, but it has developed into a new medium for news consumption. I'm Talia Landry, QNN.